Hello, welcome once again to sunny Blackpool, and more great action coming your way from the Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Championships. We're currently at the halfway stage of the men's quarter-finals. 2 matches gone and 2 still to come. Let's remind you of what's happened so far. There we are. Confirmation that Adam Davis sensationally put out the defending world champion Gareth Potts 9-6 in the first quarter, and Phil Harrison was just too good for Darren Matthew. Easy victory for him. So Mick Hill against Tom Ford is our next match this time round, and later on it'll be Murray Dolan up against Mark Farnsworth. Delighted to say that with me once again, Keith Brewer is in the studio. What sort of match are we going to see this time between Mick Hill, the former world champion, and a qualifier?
Yeah, well, potentially this could be one of the great matches. With Mick, of course, we've got one of the best players in the world, if not the best in the world. Arguably, of course, because we've got Gareth, who's crashed out of the tournament, obviously. Now, obviously, with Tom, he's a snooker player, a bit like Mark Selby, but turns his hand to pool as well. A very accomplished player too. Let's
just remind ourselves of how the two players reached this stage of the tournament. First of all, then, Mick Hill. We know a lot about him, and indeed, Mick Hill, I saw him a few moments ago. He's looking very trim still. You know, the new slimline Mick Hill we saw last time, still there, and he's looking pretty good, and he seems confident.
Yeah, absolutely. He's playing well. He's got through his matches okay. Not really been pushed by anybody so far. What this match will be like on the bigger table, I'm not really sure, because Mick is a very accomplished player on the big table, but Tom being a snooker background, well, surely he's going to have a good fight on.
You mentioned Tom there, that's his record so far in this competition, but to be honest with you, he's a new name to me, and of course he's come through the qualifying, so really, I think a lot of people won't know too much about Tom.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah, that's right. Even on the snooker, he's one of the lesser ranked professionals. He does get on the TV from time to time, but he won't be fazed with this surface in front of this crowd tonight.
This is a big chance for him, isn't it?
It's a massive chance.
Looking forward to it?
Well, I think it's going to be an absolute cracking match.
Terrific. Thanks, Keith. There we are. Once again, commentary will be led by Jim White. Let's now join the action.
The 2009 Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Championships. Tom Ford on the right, Mick Hill on the left. No stranger to the quarterfinals is Mick Hill. He's won this event, in fact. Tom Ford, a quarterfinalist back in 2006.
First frame,
this year, a qualifier.
Time running.
Very well known from his snooker background. In fact, he is ranked number 49 in the world, is Tom Ford. No mean feat. And that's what Mick Hill has to contend with. Best of 17 starts now.
Ball's potted.
And Mick will be very wary, Lee Kendall, won't he, of Tom Ford's prowess?
Yeah, he knows on the potting side won't be too much trouble on this 8-foot table. Obviously Tom's used to playing on a 12-foot table.
Yellow ball's in play.
I still think he'll give a very good account of himself here, and Mick is going to have to play really well. Lee?
Yeah, he's a very strong player, very good pool player as well as snooker player, so if he gets his opportunities, there's no doubt he can take them, and probably will. So it's up to Mick to keep him in his chair, and we all know what Mick Hill can play like, so he definitely is a favourite to win the match.
He hasn't really been pushed yet either, Mick. Beat Manny Byrne 8-4 in the round of the last 32, and a comfortable win over a very good player in Gareth Hibbett, 8-2.
Yeah, well, I actually refereed that game, the Manny Byrne game. Although you say it's comfortable, it was not comfortable for Mick Hill, I'll tell you now, because he struggled all the way through that. He was 5-0 up, and he just struggled through every frame. He was, I think if he'd have been playing, with the greatest respect to Manny, if he'd have been playing somebody who'd brought their A game to the table, Mick could have quite easily found himself 4-1 down instead of 5-0 up. And Manny came back to 5-4 from 5-0 down, 5-4, and he went to Mick went 6-4 up, and Manny had a great chance and left himself snookered on the black. And after that, the game was over. Mick just kicked in and took the match. But as you say, in the last 16 game against Gareth Hibbett, he was absolutely flying. It was the Mick Hill we know in that game, and Gareth's hardly done anything wrong. Mick was just dish after dish, I believe. Didn't actually see the game, but I know I did see the score rapidly clocking up.
I think the difference there, Sean, is he knew when he turned up for the match against Gazebert he'd got a tough player, and he knew it was probably the player that could knock him out of the tournament. So, like you say, with respect with Manny, Mick didn't come with his A game.
Well, he's shaking his head here. I wonder if he overran intended position. If this yellow doesn't pass the other into the corner pocket, he's getting down to play it as though it does.
It's a key shot, this one.
Oh, good recovery. And that should secure him the opening frame.
And I'm sure Mick will have had a look at the draw, thinking, well, now the current world champion's gone out. The man that's stopped him from winning his second world title a couple of years ago, he'll be thinking he's got a great opportunity to go and take his second world title.
Well, he's seeded number 4 this year, and if you haven't seen Mick Hill recently, don't adjust your sets, folks. He's lost an awful lot of weight.
He's lost over 5 stone, which is no mean feat. He goes to gym every day.
Fit for the fight. To open his account, Mick Hill, 1-0 over Tom Ford. An ideal start for the number 4 seed. Ford settles in, breaks frame number 2. And a ball down.
Ball spotted.
Interesting to see there, Tom employing a break cue. We haven't seen too much of that in these championships so far, but doesn't look like it's a 9-ball type cue. It looks like just an ordinary pool cue, and he's probably just protecting his tip, Lee, is he?
Yeah, and sometimes you play with a slightly thicker shaft as well to get more power. A lot of the players play with like an 8mm tip, and you don't generate as much power down the shafts. But he's quickly nominated the yellows. He's tried to develop the 2 over in the top right-hand corner. But with him playing, if he would have caught the red, there would have been a fair chance he could have knocked the yellow in over the pocket and had no shot. But he's still okay. He's got the ball where he can pot it over the pocket and go into the red and yellow, which are glued together.
I think it's fair to say that both of these players employ similar styles in that very positive vein. They attack the table. Every time they come to the table, they're looking to win the frame.
That's right, and should it go into any tactics, I think that's the part where Tom would fall short. He doesn't really understand the ins and outs of the game of 8-ball. He normally relies on his great potting ability and his cue ball control. So if you got tactical, you'd have to fancy Mick.
Yeah, I think Mick's well renowned for his potting ability, as you say, though. He does have a good tactical brain for this game. Been playing it a long time, even though he's still only fairly young.
And that's his first mistake. Careless little shake of the head by Tom.
Yeah, he just can't afford to let Mick Hill get his tail up.
And looking at it from Tom Ford's point of view, he knows he's got one of the best players in the world. He knows he's in for a tough match. So there'll be pressure on Tom as well.
.30 seconds.
Mick becoming a lot more seasoned as well. He's traveling all over the world. I run into him at different events now where he's playing a few other cue sports and against some of the best. So he's hardening his game. His mental abilities and that self-belief. All part and parcel of what makes a champion.
Yeah, I think if he played any cue sport, he could compete, whether it be snooker, 9-ball, 8-ball, straight pool. He's the sort of player that can adapt. Such is his strength of his cue action.
But this is his best game, Lee.
Definitely his best game. Is this what he grew up playing? You know, he's started off as a young lad and all he did was play 8-ball pool. Honed his skills with a little bit of snooker.
He's got that problem, Red, nearest the corner in our cameras. So that's a cause for concern as far as Mick is surveying the situation now.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to leave himself an angle after this shot. Take the red into the centre and leave an angle to break out the red and the yellow. So has he got the angle? He's not too sure. Looks a little bit too straight on it. No, he looks fine from that angle. Looks like he can just let the cue ball drift down into the area and split those two balls up.
Anytime you're moving balls, though, a little left to chance. Brilliant shot. Absolutely perfect.
And that mistake from Tom Ford early on this frame, loose shot he played, looks like it's going to cost him this second frame. And what he can't afford to do here is let Mick Hill get away, because the way Mick plays, he can just rattle 3 or 4 frames off in quick succession. Tom could find himself out of this game before he's really had a shot.
Not much Tom can do about this, though. Just sit back and admire. A terrific performance from Mick Hill. Swiped the break from Tom Ford in frame 2 and now leads 2-0. Frame number 4, 3-0, the deficit. Nothing down.
Open table.
Not the sort of start that Tom Ford wanted.
It's a great
Balls in play.
He's got to get straight on it first, so.
Just looking now, a little puff of the cheeks there from Mick. Just a wipe of the table. You see, he's not quite. Well, he's certainly not straight on it, and whether he can see enough of it here. You see, he's just pointing the jaw of the pocket there, Jim, to see where he wants to play this.
Won this event back in 2004.
30 seconds.
And they always look where his name is in the draw. A player to be feared and respected.
Yeah, very famous final there, because that was where he was way behind, but way behind all the way through against Darren Appleton. And all of a sudden Darren's break deserted him, and Mick got himself right back into the game. I think he actually took the last 6 frames on the spin to win that match. Well, he's not moved the yellow at all, it's gone clean as a whistle.
Which totally changes a frame from having an easy finish if the yellow comes away to now he's got to get behind that ball.
Just wonder if he's got an opportunity, Lee. Can he get past that yellow? There's, if we could see the table, we'd see there's a red just to there, just that red. The middle one of the 3. Can he get past the yellow?
30
And
seconds.
maybe develop that red?
No, he can't, Sean. He's going to go into it. He can come above it, but he can't go behind it. So he was always going into it. So he's going to have to play position on it off his last red. Not sure if he can get over there this shot. So
Running out of options. With every red that disappears.
yeah, now he's going for the finish when he doesn't want to. I think he's got little choice.
.30 seconds.
I feel he's got to take the one over the bottom right hand corner, bring the cue ball back up the table, and try and play on the one at the bottom last. Well, that's a great shot.
Tremendous shot. It's giving him a chance.
Didn't look like he had the angle to get over there, but what a great shot that was.
Yeah, there was only a smattering of applause from the audience there, but that was a superb shot.
Now let me ask you two a question. Do you get the feeling around the arena, around the hotel, that with Gareth Potts being upset, that there's a little more pressure in every match now because they feel like the draw has opened up?
There's certainly more pressure on this man here, Mick Hill, because everyone's now put him as tournament favourites.
30 seconds.
You know, I mean, for Adam Davies, it's a case of he doesn't want that to be his final.
Oh, he's missed it. And he's missed it by some ways.
Yellow balls in play.
His head was up off the cue very early. And now Tom Ford needs to reply.
It'd certainly be interesting to see if we did get to a Davis Hill final, because the memories, Mick would have to try and erase the memory of last year when Adam beat him in the last 32 in a final frame shootout. But there's still a lot of pool to be played before we'd get to that scenario. And I think everybody who's still in the event feels they now have a great opportunity, as you say, with Gareth Potts departing from the tournament.
Tom has made light work of these. Just the simple stuff to do now to reduce the deficit.
And a much needed frame win. He had to keep Mick Hill in his sights, and that's just what he's doing. 3-1 still to Mick Hill, but Tom Ford off the mark. Cue ball almost into the side pocket.
Very fortunate, because it looked like it was in the heart of the pocket, but just comes straight out. Just caught both jaws.
Yellow ball's nominated.
But it's a good split.
He hasn't got it's not a simple first ball here, but it's elected to go yellows. And if he does, we'll open the frame right up for him.
Yellow ball's in play.
He's not happy, but he's still fine. He's in control. Doesn't need to do anything too rash. Got the 8 by his pocket. Let's have a quick look around the table.
I think he was hoping to keep these yellows over that corner as somewhat of an insurance policy, Lee.
He can still do that, though. He can lock Tom behind the yellow.
Timeout.
Doesn't need to go. He's got an awkward yellow on the right hand side by the 3 reds. But knowing Mick, he'll be wanting to try and take it in the first
Time
visit
running.
to the table.
30 seconds.
So he needs a good positional shot from here.
That's not always easy with the spider. You see he's getting right in to the 8 ball.
Got to be careful not to touch the 8.
It's a nice little shot there from Mick. Just came off the cushion first. Just point and show you where he wants to leave the cue ball next. Up the table.
It's a tricky little finish, this one, because you've got the yellow in the bottom right hand corner. There's 3 reds just to the left hand side of it, which blocks the angle to get onto those, and then you've got the group at the top, the 3 yellows up there. So it's just about threading the eye of the needle, really, and showing the gap that he wants to get on. If he can find that gap, then he's perfect. He just drop the one in the bottom right hand corner. But this is the one positional shot he needs to unlock the frame. Is he far enough?
Very close. And if he can get through to this yellow, it'll be plain sailing. But
I think he just showed you there, Jimmy. He like did a pinch of an inch. That's how far off he is.
Another few inches would have been ideal, but plan B.
He's very close to the potting angle.
30
There's not a
seconds.
lot in.
Mind you, has he got any choice?
Not
He
really.
may have to try and go at this.
The other option is he's got a plant in the top right hand corner.
Very, very difficult shot. He's going to have to get on with this because we've had the 30-second call. Wow, that's
great shot.
fantastic.
And I think he's been a little bit lucky because the other yellow's gone over, and I think he's got the same sort of plant again.
One thing you will see from Mick, a lot of facial expressions, a lot of wincing, and it's not quite right, we've seen, and look to the skies.
Yeah, you can't see the angle, but he doesn't look too bad. Looks like he can just play the plant and draw the cue ball straight back. But he's got the best view in the house.
30 seconds.
Important, though, that he leaves himself an angle on the second to last yellow.
He obviously felt that he's running away and screw the cue ball back. So now he's got a tricky pot onto the bottom right hand corner. Just showed you where he wants a cue ball to land. Doesn't need to go too far, that's the hard part.
And it's there, and he's got the angle this time.
He's made a very tricky finish look easy by just sheer potting ability.
Yeah, he's a great potter. Also, he's a great positional player. Makes the game look so easy. And that's perfect. Just run far enough so he isn't hampered bridging.
Great reply from Mick Hill. Ford wins the frame. Hill replies right away. 4-1. The 3-frame cushion reestablished. Tom Ford, a little bit more effort into that break.
Ball's potted.
He's got a ball down, but does he have a good starting color here?
Yeah, lost the cue ball. Could have quite easily gone off in either of the middle pockets.
Red balls in
For
play.
the Reds.
Yeah, the Reds are situated quite well. One red leads to another red. So you'd expect Tom to make these.
Yeah, you're getting a very free-flowing style of play right now. Both of these players, such fluid potters and exuding confidence. They're firing missiles at each other right now.
Yeah, certainly quick fire stuff here from Tom Ford. Makes his mind up very quickly as to which way he's going to go. Just come a little bit short on that shot. Cue ball's going to have to travel a little bit further now. Might opt to take it up and down the table, which he has done. But say, with his potting ability.
This is what we like. In just under a minute's time, Ford once again snatches the frame back. 4-2, and back to Mick Hill. And dry.
Open table.
And another good split. Either suits are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, yellows are the easy opening ball, I think, Lee. He might actually prefer reds. I mean, this is one of those choices, really. You know, play which way they see the finish.
Yellow balls in play.
Elected to take the yellows.
Yeah, the only danger with the yellows is the two yellows at the top left-hand corner, but there seems to be enough room around the table to work the cue ball. The yellows are in good positions.
Yeah, well, he can get into that balk end of the table, and there's a yellow towards the top left as we look. That will go into the left-hand middle pocket, I'm sure. So, just taking a little bit more time on this finish.
30 seconds.
You know, Tom realises it's important that he takes this out. Does not let Mick Hill get away from him here.
But saying that, the standard in this match has been phenomenal.
Even though Tom was a quarter-finalist 3 years ago in this event, he had to qualify this year. He is not a recognized professional as such in the game of 8-ball pool. So he's had to work his way through the qualifiers and gain his berth. And he's making it pay.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, in 2006, I think Tom came through 13 rounds to get to the quarter-finals. He'd qualified at Great Yarmouth, which I think was 6 or 7 rounds. Played 6-7 row rounds at the championships to get to that quarter-final match. An incredible feat, really.
Remember it well, Sean. And I think he won a lot of fans over that year. Dogged determination. And this is some kind of pool.
Would like to have gone through a little bit further. Still okay. Draws on and off the cushion. Good shot. Another good finish.
It's that close between these two. The break pivotal. Tom Ford pulls one more back and trails 4-3.
Welcome back to Blackpool. This third of the men's quarter-finals really is turning out to be quite a match. Keith, you and I have really enjoyed this so far. It's been a very high-quality match, and Mick Hill got off to a great start, but he's been pegged back.
Yeah, it's been a great match. Lived up to all expectations so far, Dave. And like you say, Mick got off to an absolute flyer, but full credit to Tom because he's fighting back.
And it's hardly a mistake so far. Both players playing at a very high level.
Yeah, I think probably they've only missed about one ball each so far. It's a very, very high standard. What pool really is all about.
And Tom early on maybe missed a couple of chances, but he hasn't missed a couple recently. It looks like he's settled right into it now. Very dangerous.
Yeah, I think sometimes it takes a frame or two to settle, Dave, and you know, Tom does look like he's settled down now, and I think it could be a very exciting climax to the match.
We're about to see what does happen, Keith. Thanks very much indeed. Let's now return to the action.
4-3 to Mick Hill. Tom Ford cracks open the reds and yellows. A ball down.
Ball's potted.
Well, that's a great break. He'll be hoping that they... You just see him looking around the table now, but there's a chance of the finish on yellows, and also if those two yellows plant into the bottom left middle, it's an easy finish.
Yeah, she's been slightly unlucky with that little cluster there, just to the right, the bottom middle pocket, as you say, we see on the overhead. But
if they go in the middle, though, Sean, it gets right behind it. It's a simple finish.
I'm still trying to figure out what you meant by bottom left middle.
You're Canadian. You'll learn the lingo one day, Jim.
Canadians will figure that one out.
Wait till we start talking about outside.
Yellow ball's in play.
Well, he's opted for yellows, Lee. Taking your advice. Starting with the double. It gets it, develops the other yellow.
Absolutely fantastic shot. It's gone clean past that black.
I think it's a crazy shot. I don't think he needed to play it. Now he's got to get back onto the other one. Could have got behind those two and played a plant. But he made it. I have a needle through past the 8 ball.
Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And he's doing absolutely nothing wrong right now.
Timeout.
And he's called for the rest, so that 1 minute shot clock.
Time running.
Melvin Harley hands Tom the rest.
Certainly no problem for Tom with the rest there.
How about that
Fantastic shot. The yellow obviously goes into the centre pocket, and with the snooker background, like you were saying, that wasn't a problem to him, was it?
No, that crazy double's not looking too crazy now, Lee.
Yeah, everybody being treated to some superb 8-ball pool, courtesy of Mick Hill and Tom Ford. The first 8 frames are in the books. Nothing to choose. 4-4, Hill and Ford. Frame number 9. Momentum firmly with Tom Ford. And Mick Hill knows it.
Yeah, interesting to see there. Mick Hill swap sides is where he's breaking from. So obviously we see there the replay of the break shot. Decided it wasn't working for him from the left-hand side as we looked up the table onto the right, and immediately he's back in control, certainly in this frame.
Yellow ball's in play.
Just kind of muttering to himself as he walks around the table.
Yeah, he's nominated the yellows, so he's on yellows.
30 seconds.
Then clip into the corner.
Like many sportsmen, these top-class pool players tend to be very selfish, don't they? They want it all. They want the running.
Oh, that's a fantastic shot.
That's-
Two rails and on his awkward ball.
Absolutely perfect, that is. I think if he'd wanted to pick the cue ball up and put it somewhere, Lee, he wouldn't have been too far away from there.
I'd be quite happy with that. If he's straight, we can't see if he's absolutely straight, but if he is straight, then it's an easy finish. Doesn't want to have to come away. Slight angle, so not as ideal. If he could have just been a little bit further over, it was
30
an
seconds.
easy finish. That's why he's not taking that ball now.
Yeah, I think the overhead just made it look that almost a straight shot, and as you say, you saw from that shot it wasn't. We've got another opportunity now just to drop this yellow into the middle pocket and get back into that ideal spot.
Yeah, he's got a slight angle on it, but that's fine. He can just draw the cue ball back, take the yellow that's at the top next. Didn't look too happy about it, but I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah, just a little adrenaline into that back arm. Didn't need to be as far from the yellow as he is, but he's still on it. Got to get onto that awkward yellow after this, though.
I'd be worried not to come short or too far, so this is a key shot. It's okay, you can draw the cue ball back, possibly use the red, which is just above it, to break the cue ball. So this to take the lead once again.
And this tremendous standard looks like continuing on another frame. Break and finish, break and finish, time and time again. Whatever you can do, I can do better. And now it goes again back to Tom Ford. 5-4, Mick Hill in front. Frame number 10.
And the red went as close as it could to the pocket without dropping, and Tom can't believe it. It looked like it was just going to tip over the edge. But all that does is hand the table to Mick Hill. How deep is that red into the bottom right-hand corner pocket? Has Mick Hill got a shot? Can he get through to that red?
I believe he can. Even just off the near cushion if he likes, but I think he can see that ball, Lee.
Well, I think he may have to if he's going to go for it, go cushion first, because it's so far in the jaws, it's so difficult to get position, because he's having to see there, he's jacking the cue up.
He might be played a bit side on it. No, he just jack straight up. Oh, he's over the moon with that. That's perfect.
Red
what a
ball's
great
in play.
shot.
Yeah, he can get rid of the two reds at the wrong end of the table as far as he's concerned.
He couldn't have landed any better there. He didn't know exactly where the cue ball was going to end up, but that's not far off where he would have put it. Nice cannon there, developing the red over to the right-hand side.
Yeah, he made sure he hit it full ball there, Lee, so there's no chance just flicking it into the yellow and getting stuck with it or anything like that. Full ball contact, moved it, as you say, right across the table. Still in a potable position.
Yeah, and we take these last 5 reds and the black for granted when you see Mick Hill, but you know, there's still work to be done.
Half chances of being capitalised on to the full.
That's right, they make the game look very, very easy, but I can assure you it's not as easy as these guys make it look. Nice little stop shot.
I think he drew back about an inch or two further than he intended, though, Lee.
I think he's doing what you said before, though. He wants everything to be perfect. I'm sure he's fine. He can either draw it back or run on and off the cushion. He's got options.
You see he's shaking his head there, 'cause like you say, it's not the fat, it's the pot that's the problem.
30
It's
seconds.
it's the path of the cue ball to his next ball that's just causing him the the problem, if you like. And he's opted there to leave himself the long shot here. Red into the bottom right-hand corner. Bottom left as we look on the overhead.
If you remember back to our first quarterfinal, these were the type of shots that Gareth Potts was confronted with and never made one. Shots that were definitive as far as the frame was concerned, and look at the difference.
Yeah, he still doesn't look happy. He's got the wrong angle again on the red, but it's just a question whether the 8-ball goes into the pocket where he just looked, the top left as we look now. I'm sure it does, and if it doesn't, he can draw the cue ball back or on and off the rail. He's drawn it back, possibly for the middle. Yeah, set for the middle pocket. Guaranteed himself a shot.
Big shot here. Steady as a rock. Mick Hill, 6'4". He is on cloud 9 right now, and on a different planet, in fact. What a standard. And the cue ball straight into the side pocket. Disaster.
One visit.
Shake of the head there from Tom Ford. As we see there, straight in to that middle pocket.
Lots of power, but straight in, so you can only say it was a bad break, really.
Trying to do too much too soon. Nothing he can do now. He may not get out of his chair again, save to shake hands. If Hill clears up here, breaks and clears in the next. 10-4 and over and out.
Yeah, he's just got a little bit of work to do here because there's a red and a yellow stuck together.
It's just the same.
So Mick's decided to go for the yellows. He's got one yellow as you see him bridging over. He's trying to disturb it now. What a great shot that was.
This is fantastic.
Yellow ball's in play.
Now, the other problem he could have here is the 8-ball is very close to a red ball. As you can see the shot again. Quick to get out of the way of it. And in a flash, though, Mick's just turned the power on, hasn't he, and blowing Tom away.
Yeah. And the interesting thing to be, Lee and Jim will be, is if Mick does get through, can he? Oh, I'm just saying that he's snookered himself.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, would he be able to maintain this momentum into the semi-final?
Without a shadow of a doubt,
Total
because
snooker.
he's one of them players that's at the top of the game. It's not like he just raised his game for this match. This guy's level.
A rare mistake from Mick Hill.
So he's got the option now to come off the bottom cushion and try and flip the yellow into the right
30
hand
seconds.
middle pocket. Or we could try and drop on the one on the left hand side and hopefully kick Tom off his reds. But he's going for the first option. I think
Red
he'll
ball's
take
in
that.
play.
Just a bad shot, though, and he knows it.
Not sure if he can get through to the red over the pocket. Tom just had a quick look. Yeah, there's enough room. He probably just got a bit ahead of himself when he's gone for the split. He probably didn't need to split it off that shot. It was a little bit unlucky, but he didn't take a lot of care with the cannon that he took.
And this is far from straightforward. He's not going to be able to get close to the reds.
30 seconds.
So long distance is going to have to be dialed here.
Certainly not wasting any time again.
Where's the
here,
cue
Tom.
ball?
Look at the cue ball. He's lost it.
Careless, a little bang on the table. Knows he's let Mick Hill off there.
Time running.
One more look. A smooth red, but didn't negotiate
Foul.
the cannon into the other red. And now with 2 visits, you just can't see Mick Hill failing here.
You know, these are all over, and Mick will be mightily relieved to get this other opportunity back in this frame. And there's just been a couple of mistakes, but what a standard this match has been by both players.
I just think Mick Hill hit a gear that Tom Ford was put under pressure to try and match. (8-4). Hill is on the hill. And he will break for the match in the next. Mick Hill doing a number on Tom Ford. Ball down.
He lost the cue ball, flew all over the table, but what a break.
Ball spotted.
What a break for Mick Hill.
Reds look pretty good here, don't they?
Well, I think
Dominated
so.
Reds
Yeah.
very quickly.
And he's just got one red to negotiate, really. He's having a quick look at the table.
To be honest, I think once
He's just pointed that one out. He's going...
once he's found his way to that, I think the timekeeper can hang up his clock for this match.
I'm not too sure I wouldn't go at it now. Take the red to the top left and drop onto that red into the center pocket next.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do.
He really wants to leave a red below the 8, because that 8 doesn't pass into the top left corner as we look.
He's hoping he hasn't gone too far. He's a little bit anxious.
He wanted to be straight so he could roll through to play the red in the center, and he's not. So the game plan changes. And a glimmer of hope for Tom Ford.
He's still okay. I mean, at worst case, he'd have to double the red into the centre and get back onto the 8. But he thinks he can get off this one. To pinch the pocket. It's a great shot.
That one should see him clear. If the red passes the yellows into that top left corner, as we look from our overhead.
Yeah, I think it's game, set and match.
To be fair, this has been an absolutely unbelievable performance from Mick Hill. You know, this is pool at the very highest standard.
A dominant performance, to be sure. Mick Hill on a flyer. 9-4. He beats Tom Ford, and all Ford can do is offer his hand and say, well done, mate. You played terrific.
So what a performance that was from Mick Hill. It all happened in whirlwind style as well. He's now safely through to the semi-finals. Just to confirm what's happened so far, we've now seen 3 quarter-finals, and it's Adam Davis who'll be meeting Phil Harrison, and Mick Hill, the former world champion, is now through to the semi-finals, where he'll face the winner of Murray Dolan and Mark Farnsworth. So that's the situation, and Keith, what a performance that was from Mick. He was absolutely relentless, wasn't he?
Well, that was a first-class display and really has set the benchmark for the whole tournament. Now, anyone that wants to go on and win this world title has got to match that,
yes,
at least, to get any further.
We've got that interesting 4th quarter-final still to come, so whoever wins that obviously is up against it with Mick. How do you assess that one against 2 relatively unknown players?
Yeah, well, that one's always hard to call because these players are either going to come out there and play their A game or they are going to struggle. It's hard to know, but they're both quality players.
This is Murray Dolan and Mark Farnsworth, isn't it? Who is a qualifier.
Absolutely, yes. But they're very well known on the pool circuit. 2 excellent players.
But they will be in for a tough match against Mick Hill in that sort of form.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. OK, well, that's one to look forward to. And, of course, you can see that right here with us on Sky Sports. In the meantime, from all of us here in Blackpool, it's goodbye for now. See you next time.